In this session we want to create what's called a master query. We already have our function set up, which has our connection to our shipwrecks database in this case, and we've already created a script that logs onto our database and does a select all from the shipwrecks that does a for each result and echoes out the field of the name of the vessel. So when we have a look at this running, so I select the master query and click on run project. I can then select the shipwrecks database and the master query, and we can see that we've got every field coming down. Now we want to do what's called a master query, and the idea of a master query is to show all the fields that are in our database. So it's like a query that gives you everything that's within inside the table. So to do this, we're going to have a look at our PHP myadmin. So I'm just going to duplicate this tab, and then I'm going to log on to PHP myadmin. Log on as root with no password, and go into shipwrecks and select the shipwrecks database. So in here you can actually see all the results and all the data within inside the table, but this can take some time to go back to and sift through all the time, and we want to create a query that replicates this. So a good thing to do is have the structure of the database open so you can see all the fields. In this case we have 21 different fields. So the very first field is ID. So what we'd like to see in our database is the first field to be ID and then move along so we can easily view the data. Now because we've selected star from the shipwrecks, it's actually returned all the information from the database inside this query here and stored the table of information in results. So we use the for each, and we've stored and for each result as a row, so it pulls out every line. So when we look at our database, each row, so we look at the data, so each one of these records is a row. So that command would split that into a row for us. And then what we want to do is display that. So at the moment it's showing the name of the vessel, but it's not actually showing us the ID that's the first field. So let's have the ID come up on screen first. So we still want to echo, and it's still going to be $row. So we're going to put a new field in here, which is going to be $row, square bracket, and then we can actually put the ID, which is the name of the field, and it has to be syntactically the same, and close the square bracket. Then we can put a dot. So the dot is a concatenator, which means put this first, then put this second, and then put a break tag to go to the next line. So if I save this and now refresh this page, you can see we've got the ID at the front and then the name of the vessel afterwards. Now it's not looking too nice in its format, so we might want to change the format. So what we're going to do in here is, rather than having this column and then this column, we're going to put a full stop in and a single quote. I'm going to have 2 spaces, and then I'm going to have a dash and then 2 spaces, and then the next column will be there. So now I've just concatenated in a gap between the 2 fields. So when I come here and refresh, you can see that gap's appeared. So the next field that's in our database is actually type. So now what I want to do is, before the break tag, once again put a quote, single quote, 2 spaces dash, 2 spaces quote, and then I'm going to put a full stop and then the name of the field. So I need $row, and then I put a square bracket and then type. So this is the type of ship. And then I need to put a full stop to add the break tag onto the end. So once again, save this, then refresh. You can now see the ID, the boat name, and then the type of boat it was. So we want to do this for all the data in our database, and this is now called a master query because it shows you all 200 records that are held within, or 237 records held within our database. So if you spend some time to finish this, it'll actually give you a very good template for when you're refining your queries. Then you can just remove the ones you don't want to show, or add the ones in the order that you do want to show as you expand your SQL search and refine that, and this will help you display them. If you want to apply HTML to it and use a table for your output, you can look at a previous video to get some information on how to format in HTML. So I hope you found this video useful for creating a master query.